I had nothing to do with farming for all of my life up till I bought this farm because I wanted something to do when I retired. My background is in the major appliance business. I had an executive lifestyle of travel and lack of exercise, eating a steak and a potato most every night, maybe having a glass of wine or two with it, and all of that takes its toll. It really was a life-changing event when I discovered that I had prostate cancer. Eventually, I went the medical route and had the prostate cancer destroyed by radiation. And as a result of having the prostate cancer, I began to learn how important it was to eat properly and take control of my own health.
You know, we can medicate ourselves through our food if we're eating good food. You know, we know how that food is raised, we know where it came from, how it was produced, all of this, then that does become, by and large, our medicine.
My body was full of toxin, and the body wants to be healthy, and it wants to heal itself, but you've got to help it by giving it, you know, the right nutrients and so forth. So from that led me to, well, I've got this 110 acres here. Why don't I raise my own food? So I got 12 cows, and we really didn't know what we were doing. You know, I ran out of grass. I put them in a pen, and I bought feed, and I took them all over here to the market. And I think I made about $12 on that deal. So I said, well, you know, this isn't the way to go.
Was that $12 a head or just $12?
$12 total. Then I said, well, I've got to learn something about this intensive grazing. And I called Dr. Terry Kaiser from the University of Mississippi and told him that I was looking for somebody. And he said, well, it's funny you ask, but I happen to be sitting on the farm of the premier guy in the United States that knows all about what you want to know. His name is Alan Williams, and I'm on a deer stand on his property. And I'll ask him to call you. And the rest is history.
What we're looking at here is a very well-planned and executed rotation of the cattle. What they've done here is taken down a single-strand polywire that was separating the previously grazed pasture from the ungrazed pasture, and they moved themselves into the fresh paddock.
We're on a 30-day cycle. The pastures will regenerate, and I can graze them again every 30 days.
So it's just a matter of making a continuous transition from grazed to ungrazed. Nature has this incredible ability that when subjected to disruption, it actually regenerates itself a degree or two higher than where it was before. And I've become firmly convinced that that is what nature has been doing for thousands of years. And that is exactly what we need to recreate with our livestock. We want to make darn sure that in our pastures we have that 3 classification of forage species represented. That creates that salad bar. They can graze high, they can graze intermediate, they can graze low, and they can graze grasses, they can graze legumes, and they can graze forbs. They have the opportunity here versus a monoculture to every single day balance their own diets. And they're much smarter than we think. Given the opportunity to balance their diet, they will absolutely do that. So what we're seeing here is a fairly rapid transformation. In a 3-year time period, being able to go from a farm that had a lot of bare ground, fairly low water infiltration rates at the time, a lot of weeds, to a farm today that is actively thriving. So he has created, in essence, a thriving total ecosystem that not only supports the livestock, but also supports an array of other life, from many different species of birds and songbirds to mammals, deer, turkey, rabbit, squirrel, you name it, to pollinator insects, and the wildlife below the ground in the soil, those soil microorganisms, everything. But then you're also creating diversity on your farm by stacking enterprises.
We are in the heritage chicking business. The chickens defecate and leave their mineral deposit on the ground as they go. It keeps me from having to use commercial fertilizer.
You know, you're also raising market gardens, pasture pork. They're picking through and foraging through all the different plants that are growing out here.
I call them timber-raised pigs, and they have really improved the property here. It's cheap labor.
Yeah.
You know.
So you are creating multiple levels of diversity, everything basically from life in the soil all the way up to the different types of animals and produce. And that's what we've gotten away from in agriculture.
It's just like investing in the stock market. You know, if I invested all my money in Enron years ago, I'd be in deep trouble today. But if I invested in a diverse portfolio, some were up, some are down, but they were all good companies, and overall the mix is profitable, and it gives me the return that I want, and that's just how I relate to things from my past experience. You know, most everybody around here is polite, but I can see a little glint in their eye that they may think I'm a little crazy and what have you, and I expect that. And you know what, I really don't care. It's my farm, and I'm going to operate it the way I want to operate it. So I'm a disciple of yours. I didn't know any better, and obviously you're a consultant. You charge me a fee, but if I pay you money, I'm going to damn well do what you tell me, because I want a return on my investment, and you've given me that.
Yeah.
You really have.
Well, I appreciate that, but what's been exciting, Murray, is to see the progress. When you did start, it was a blank slate, and so it's been great to be able to take that blank slate and to turn it into what you see today, and you know, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Well, the pursuit of better health made this land healthy, and a lot of good things happened as I began to eat better. I lost weight, my blood sugar is down, I have more energy, and I plan to live long enough to be a problem to my children. You know, there are a lot of things that pass us by at this age, but then there are some other things that come along that make life exciting, and I think that this farm is a big part of that. This farm is medicine to me. You know, I had an older couple come in, and I took them on the farm tour and showed them everything. And then they kind of confided in me, and they told me that they had been vegetarians for the last 22 years.
Oh, wow.
But they wanted to try eating beef again, and they were looking for a source, and they saw my story and my message on my website, and so I sold them a pound of hamburger meat. Now, this was people who've been vegetarians for 22 years, and I sold them a pound of hamburger meat. Now, I tried to sell the sausage, but they said, no, don't push it.